欲しけりゃくれてやる。探せ。この世のすべてをそこに置いてきた。
It's finally here. One Piece, the live action, 8-hour-long episodes. Netflix has dropped all 8 together at one time. And I'm here to talk about whether, if you are a fan of it, whether you'll enjoy it and like the adaptation from the manga and the anime, or if you've never read the manga or you've never seen any of the animated episodes, whether you'll like it still. So let's jump in. In a seafaring world, a young pirate captain sets out with his crew to attain the title of Pirate King and to discovered the mythical treasure known as One Piece. So I've seen about 780 episodes, and that's crazy to say. There's over 1,000 now. So I've seen the latest One Piece film, Red, which I thought was fantastic. I know a little bit about the world. I have some idea of what this is and what it's meant to be in the adaptation of it. And then we've had so much news. Netflix has been pushing out like this is their big flagship. And the reason why is because they've put so much money behind each episode. According to multiple sources, and I'm guessing those are kind of accurate from Collider and other people that you can kind of take for what they say is accurate. It's about 18 million an episode, more than what Game of Thrones costs. So you're going to be expecting it to look good. And the first thing I can say is from them making the sets, right from the beginning, when they were building the ships in the Cape Town dockyards or the set pieces there, they look amazing. Every set piece looks incredible. From the ships that you expect, if you're an anime lover, you want to see the Mary, adapted. When you see them get the Mary for the first time, when you see the sail come down for the first time, it just fills you with glee. And from a perspective of somebody that hasn't seen anything of the animes before, I think you're going to really just love the immersive world of it. But here is where I think audiences will be divided. Because sometimes when you adapt a thing and you adapt it correctly, you're going to get those mannerisms and how anime, particularly One Piece, the characters and their mannerisms all come across. Now, these actors that have been chosen to play our characters, especially Luffy or Monkey D. Luffy, they have been chosen specifically to play characters and their mannerisms. So Inca Godoy, who plays Monkey D. Luffy, he's loud and exuberant and full of joy and full of like being the leadership, but always positive. Mostly is always positive and excited about going forward. And that's the sort of character that you get in here. Completely embraces that character. But sometimes when you get those characteristics, it's going to come off cheesy. And there's a lot of those moments in this. If you're coming from the perspective of, I've never seen the anime before, it's going to come across cheesy. But you have to think in the back of your mind, this is an adaptation and they're doing it as close as they can, as honest as they can to the anime and the manga itself. In fact, the original creator had a massive hand in making this series and basically made them do a massive reshoot to get it accurate. So you know that when the creator has had as much love to creating this series, that's when you're going to get something that's quite special. But coming from the perspective of if you don't like anime and you're just coming in to enjoy a world that's immersive, there's going to be a lot of dialogue in here or characters in here that feel over the top or stupid. There's a character acted by Jacob Romero who plays Usopp, and his character is that of someone that is always scared, always running away, always worried. He does step up when he needs to, and he is like the slingshot master, the pretense captain of the group. And it's going to be like that continually throughout the series, well, for the first 4 episodes at least, where you're going to be introduced to new characters thinking, what on earth is going on here? This is really all over the place. But I don't think you really find that emotional gravitas that you, if you're an audience member that hasn't seen the previous content, that you won't be hooked until that 4th episode. Now, you will be enjoying it because the set pieces, the action, the sword fights, the mythical lands, all of that is very interesting to watch. And obviously with its big budget, it's going to be vibrant and big and expansive, and that is enough for you to kind of get interested in what these characters bring. But because this is an origin story, they have so much to build upon, introduce you to the mythical world, introduce you to each character, and each character has their own massive backstory. And again, that is shown here, unfortunately, through flashbacks. I like the way they do it in in the anime, because with the anime you have so many episodes that often the flashbacks can be a few episodes long, or there'll be a few moments in amongst a whole series where we keep going back. Here, because we have hour-long episodes, we do get like a chunk of time in a flashback occasionally, but you still feel like you're missing something occasionally. It's only because I have the understanding of what's gone on can I fill the gaps. But what's interesting about this is they filled their own gaps in places to continue the story, to make it more coherent. So although it's an adaptation, they've kind of filled in gaps, things that we haven't seen before that are actually quite good. There are moments where you'll see a character do something that I don't remember seeing in the anime. I'd have to go back and watch the original first season again just to kind of remind myself how much of this is adapted. And some of the screenshots you'll be able to do comparison, like shot for shot, as if it's almost a storyboard. You can see even the cast doing screenshots themselves showing how much dedication they've played from the characters. So although you're going to have that cheesiness and that campiness that comes from the anime, once you hit the middle part, there is a good emotional story, and that centers mostly on our character Nami. We have a story that's kind of going to pull the group together from being these characters that are just starting to come together and be under the crew of Luffy, who wants to be this pirate, and he's trying to prove to everybody that he is this pirate and he's going to be the king of the seas. But Nami's story is the one that has the most emotional moments for you to root for the characters, where they come together as a crew, actually support each other as a crew. And that's nice. It doesn't just happen. They don't suddenly become best friends. There's a lot of time given to that. That's really what this first season is all of our characters. And I have to say, I loved Ronoro Zoro, who's played by Makenyu. He is the classic moodiness of the character that he should be. Even though you understand why he has like 3 swords, you get to see why he has 3 swords. You understand that he's carrying his own weight. Usopp himself, you understand why he is that kind of scaredy cat character. Nami herself, which is another character you meet along the way, again, you understand why she's the kind of pivotal core to this group, and Luffy is the heart. And then of course you get Sanji, who I love most of the costumes. I think they nailed it with Sanji. I think they did really well. In talking about the costume designs, there were a couple of times when I saw a few of the costumes that reminded me a little bit of cosplay. So as much as I am a fan of everything and I wanted to go, yeah, this is amazing, it's 100% brilliant, I couldn't call myself a reviewer or a critic if I don't give some of those parts that I didn't think that quite worked for me. And for me, that would be a little bit of the score, because the score at times just didn't feel like it nailed the theme or the feeling that they were trying to get across. I was missing the actual theme that we get from the anime. I was really hoping that was going to continue to play throughout. We do get some of those cues that come in later, but I wanted some of those themes that we know and love. When you do get used to the themes that they're bringing along, I think that's all fantastic and it works really well. Some of those costumes come across like cosplay costumes, but for me, there were a couple of times I just thought, yeah, that doesn't quite translate as well as you'd expect it to, which is fine. There are minor niggles for me, but if I were to step back outside of being a fan and watching this, is one of the things I say to my good friend Chris from Movies and Munchies. I think you're going to find this difficult to watch and enjoy like others are, because it's going to be weird for you stepping into this and seeing it as an adaptation, because you won't know anything about it. And so you're stepping into this really campy dialogue, weird characters. Sometimes there's massive history that you don't know anything about, and this is the origin story that you kind of have to allow it time to build into those characters, so that once you hit the episode at about episode 4, that's when you get the emotional content. But even you won't see the stories come into fruition until we get season 3, 4 and 5 and 6. And that's if we get them, because we have this massive writer strike that's been going on for 100 days, actor strike as well. It costs 18 million per episode to watch. They have set it up like they expect to get a second season. They haven't wrapped it up completely. They haven't like contained it and made this the one story, even though there is one story to this that is done and dusted. But they absolutely take a chunk of the last episode, like a 20 minutes or so, to set up the next season, which is very exciting. I will be doing a spoiler review once this is out, to let people talk about the spoilers for themselves, which parts they enjoyed the most. But for me, I thought the characters, the adaptations, the actors did an amazing job with what they were given. I thought the CGI was excellent. I loved some of the creature creations. There is the mushy telephones. I loved what they did with that. I think that was excellent. There are other characters that I thought have been done really well. Cody is another character that Luffy meets along his way. Kobe, not Cody. And he's a fantastic character. I thought he was really interesting, along with the Admiral, the Vice Admiral. I thought he was an interesting character. There's nice character growth from most of our characters from where we meet them at the beginning. And that's because we are given a lot of time to kind of develop these characters. I'm looking forward to what's coming. I would have loved it if we could have just started from season 2 and carried on that way. But we do have to have this origin for everybody to get to grips with it. I really hope people will like this more than some of the other adaptations of anime that we've had. So it's one of the first adaptations that I think has been really true to its original content, but I'm not sure everybody is going to like that. So if I were reviewing this as a critic and dissecting it, I think this would probably score from 3 to 3.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
You got one.
But there's the fan in me. There's so much in this that they lovingly put in between what the ships look like, between the costume design, 99% was fantastic and looked awesome, to the adaptations of how the costumes would look from live action, from anime. Some of that just you can't directly adapt, so you have to make it work for the screen, and I thought they did that excellently. And then we have the acting and the actors portraying those characters that we know and love, and I would give it a solid 4.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
You got one. Congratulations.
So there's kind of 2 trains of thought there, or really 3 depending on how you look at it. I'm excited to talk about where this could go next. Look out for other content about One Piece. Let me know your thoughts below once you've seen it. Are you a massive fan, or is this your first time coming into it? Really looking forward to what you guys think. If you love it, I would love to hear your thoughts on which parts worked really well for you and who you thought played the best characters or character in this series. I really loved the camaraderie with the whole crew when they got down to it, but the banter between Sanji and Zoro I thought was really done well. Reminded me of the anime. So if you really need to know what's happening next and you can't wait for the next 2 to 3 years if we get a second season, you can always just hop on the anime, which is great because so many more people now will probably be watching the anime. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.